Saying to the woman, I don't understand what you're saying to me. Just tell me what you're telling me right now. I don't understand what you're saying. And she finally said, this is a life-shortening condition. And I quickly hung up the phone. Connor's gonna stop talking.
I love you, Mom.
Stop walking. Stop being able to feed himself. Develop seizures. Experience a lot of pain and suffering. And then he'll die. We can make it stop. We can keep Connor right where he is, the beautiful, loving boy that he is. We can save him right now if we're able to raise the money for these clinical trials. So we have to do this. It has to happen.
Save me, please.
Hey everybody, Lydia from the Kellyanne Dolan Memorial Fund. Thank you for joining us today as we are joined by a local family and hearing about the struggle to save their beloved, almost 13-year-old son. Please welcome Marisa and Mike to the show.
Hi, thank you so much for having us.
Hey, I'm so glad.
Thanks for having us.
Join us today. Boy, just looking at that video, little boy just so full of life and love. But let's break it down because we want to raise awareness about Connor's genetic condition, how it's affecting him, but most of all, how we can help you in this fight. So tell us a little bit about the condition.
Sure. Sanfilippo Syndrome is a genetic disorder. It's extremely rare, and it's likened to a childhood form of Alzheimer's. The reason it's likened to a childhood form of Alzheimer's is because it has the same effect. It is a gradual brain damage occurring, which ultimately starts to significantly affect their ability to eat, walk, talk, interact with others, go to the bathroom on their own and swallow. And it's just a very dreadful disease. It's called Sanfilippo Syndrome. Both parents have to be carriers of the genetic mutation, I guess, and then the odds from there are 1 in 4. But we are raising money for a genetic therapy clinical trial that could potentially save Connor's life.
Okay. Marisa, I think I remembered hearing, though, it was maybe a little over a year ago that you learned about the Sanfilippo syndrome condition. Up until that point, you pretty much thought that you knew you had a child that had special needs, but it was presenting more as being on the autism spectrum. So
Exactly.
I can't imagine being confronted.
No parent is ever prepared for that. Yeah, Mike and I, we went to his elementary school in 2018, and they have to do an evaluation on kids with special needs every 4 years. And it was time for Connor's again. And when they brought us in, they said to us, one of the things we noticed was in kindergarten, he had an average IQ of 100. And when we did the new evaluation, it had plummeted down to 60, which then qualified him for an intellectual disability diagnosis. So Mike and I were completely blindsided by that. So we consulted with our developmental pediatrician who said, let's revisit genetics, because we had actually gone through genetics when he was about 3.5. There was no red flags, nothing popped up. So quite frankly, we were kind of just checking the box like we always have. And in April of 2019, so a little over or a little less than 2 years ago, Mike and I got the phone call, and I didn't even know what Sanfilippo syndrome was. It's not a household name. Quite frankly, I was like, okay, let me know how we can treat this. And she kept talking while she was delivering the news. And then I said, like I said in the video, I don't understand what you're saying to me. And she said, this is a life-shortening condition. And, our world's just changed from that day on.
Yeah. And in addition to all of that, there are, different types of, right? And I believe
Yeah.
Connor's being diagnosed with the type C, which is the most rarest. And the reason that you really need to raise the funds, because you're raising dollars for these researchers and doctors to be able to treat him.
Exactly. Yeah.
Correct.
Type C is the most rare, but if we're going to have Sanfilippo syndrome, type C is at least the slowest progressing. So children with A and B at this point, Connor, like you said, is about to turn 13. A lot of them are wheelchair bound already and do have feeding tubes and are nonverbal and are no longer potty trained. So, in the lottery that, Connor's been entered in with Sanfilippo syndrome, we're at least thankful that type C is the most slow progressing. He plays soccer. He can swim. He clearly can feed himself. He eats a ton of goldfish. He has no problem there. He's got a ton of friends. He can walk, talk. So we're lucky in that aspect. But it is day by day. We're on borrowed time. Most kids don't live past their late teens, early 20s, and he's going to be 13.
Yeah, most kids are not able to communicate the way he can. He can speak. I mean, the fact that he can speak at all is a big deal in Sanfilippo world. So it really is this crazy rush. I mean, race against the clock. It's like it's sprints to get to certain, to raise this money and to do different events, but it's also a marathon. It's like a marathon with sprints within it. And we just got to keep going. And that's where our community has just really lit the fire for us.
That's amazing. Tell us a little bit about, I want to hear about Connor, what makes him tick, what he's like. Bring his personality off the page for our viewers.
Oh my gosh. Connor is a ray of light. He has a heart of gold. I always say, Mike said it perfectly in our video. He's just all love. I mean, it's all Connor knows. It's all he's about. He doesn't have a mean bone in his body. He's happy. He's happy-go-lucky. He's up for anything. He loves having fun. He loves his family, his friends. I mean, if he could get a stuffed animal, eat goldfish, play with animals, hang out with his family and friends, he's done. He's lived his best life every day. He's just absolutely amazing. He is.
And, Connor and I, whenever he's with me on weekends or even some other nights, he always wants to go to the horse farm. It's this horse farm of retired race horses. And he has this one special horse named Bullseye that he named. He wants to go check him out in the shed. We go walk over. A lot of times I'll make my Facebook Live videos there because it's just me and him spending time, and it's like him in his natural element. So if you really try to get to know this kid, it's just amazing the way you can connect with him and bond. And for me, he's brought so much clarity and perspective to my life that I didn't have. And I love spending time with him. I love going watching horses and watching them light up. That's just one of many examples.
Seems like he just spreads joy wherever he goes. And wouldn't we be a little bit better off in this world? It looks like he's got a sidekick there too, a younger brother, which I know Keenan's pretty active in the campaign and this fight, as well as being an amazing brother.
Keenan is literally, he's the superstar. I mean, he's the super sibling. He totally understands everything that's going on. I mean, he does TikTok videos. He tells all of his friends about the campaign. He's constantly talking about it. He's right in the fight with us. I mean, he is a team player, but just as a kid, I mean, both of our children are like a parent's dream. He's warm and kind and loving and patient. I mean, that kid has patience that any kid his age just does not have. He's just so understanding and warm and loving. I mean, Mike and I are so blessed in that way. Both of our kids are just, I mean, there's literally not a week that goes by that somebody doesn't reach out to me and rave about both of our children. They're just amazing.
Yeah, and look, I mean, Keenan, just like any sibling to somebody with special needs, is going to have its frustrations. You know,
Yeah.
Connor could be pulling on his neck, all that. But I mean, these special needs, these siblings of kids with special needs, I mean, especially Sanfilippo syndrome, because I've gotten to know these families, they are just incredible. The heart they have and just the way they grow up with having to have patience and understanding and
Yeah.
protect their sibling. And, you know, Keenan has spent literally, if you think about it, more time with Connor than anybody because he's with them at school. He sees him in the hallway. He's with them between both houses now. I mean, the kid, it's amazing with these kids. And I tell him all the time, you know, you're more patient than I am. I couldn't do what he does at his age, at my age.
No, it's amazing. We see in so many of our families at the Dolan Fund with special needs. It just seems to be a characteristic. You know, not always, but they just rise to the occasion and are just part of that safety net that we like to call it. So that's so cool to hear about Keenan.
Yeah.
I really want to move to how we can help you. And I think we can better understand. Marisa, I appreciated what you said that, okay, you've got the lottery in the pace of the progression of the disease, but it is progressing.
It is.
And help our community and viewers understand in the last year some of those setbacks. And then we'll talk about how important it is because you've got a steep climb. You're out there raising dollars to save your kid's life. So there can be a clinical trial for him and other families. So what's changed?
The pandemic's been really tough on these kids. You know, obviously therapies had stopped. He was doing external speech therapy, which, got canceled last year, all of his sports. So there was a lot of stuff that he thrived with that got obviously taken away. So one of the things that we actually just recently had him get was he was fitted for and now wears hearing aids. So that started in December. He actually carries around an assisted device at school now, more so for the long term, so that if and when he does start to lose his speech, he's not then simultaneously learning a new piece of technology and being frustrated with not being able to verbalize and communicate on this iPad. I've noticed he's walking a little bit slower. His knees are bending in a little bit more. All symptoms and things that these kids with Sanfilippo have. I watched videos and he used to talk a lot slower, more clearer. So we're seeing it. You don't notice it day to day, but when you look at videos or pictures or you kind of stop and watch him walk, it is happening. It's happening every single day. Which is why it's now more than ever so important for us to get out there, spread the word through people like you, which is amazing. Thank you. We're asking for everybody to check out our Save Connor video. It's saveconnor.com, nice and easy. Donate if you can, which is amazing. Every dollar counts. More importantly, share. We ask that everybody watches it and shares it because you never know how far and wide and who it can reach. We just, we need to get this out to as many people. So saveconnor.com, donate if you're able, which is amazing. Share. Everybody can hit the button to share and and, spread our story far and wide. Help us raise these millions of dollars to give our child a chance at life.
Absolutely. The power, of our social media platforms to be able to reach people, far and wide has such a powerful impact. Give us some context. You're trying to raise how much? Mike?
Go ahead. We're trying to raise $3 million through this Save Connor campaign. Those dollars would all be specifically earmarked toward the first ever clinical trial, genetic therapy clinical trial for Sanfilippo type C. So the money all goes to a 501c3 nonprofit, Cure Sanfilippo Foundation, and they are using the portion that the Save Connor campaign has raised specifically toward those expenses. There are some very big I'm not a scientist. I might play one on TV occasionally here, but I do not know this all the science. I've learned a lot, but there are some very big expenses coming up in the next few months, where approximately $1 million will be needed, out of pocket to fund these next steps. So we are making a very, very big push for the $1 million mark by June. And this is just sort of, like we said, a marathon, not a sprint, but 3 million in conjunction with other families that are doing other things should fund this clinical trial from all expectations. And then, we're hoping, obviously, it's something that Connor would be eligible for, and that works. And we're taking our shot.
Yeah. As any family would do, with no cure. You're working tirelessly to save your child's life.
Yeah.
So, and I think you've raised, have you raised about 600 out of that million? Are you there yet? Is that accurate, or?
Yeah, we're at about, I think, closer to 700,000 from the day we went public in August 2019. But over, I think 550,000 just since the release of the Save Connor 3-minute film, and that was only a few months ago, back in October. Yeah. So we just got to keep building this momentum, and it really is a numbers game. Like, anytime we can expand that audience, like, for instance, a lot of us now in COVID time have Zoom calls with our companies. You get 50, 100 people in a room that, maybe we're talking about, getting behind a cause to support. That's something you could bring up. And that's only a 3-minute film you could even ask people to watch. And one other idea, most companies out there do offer the charitable match for your dollars. Right. That's free money. That's free money if the Cure Sanfilippo Foundation is on the platform there. But we've had some success with that, and we encourage people to proactively help us in that way, to get their companies to, encourage this and to match. Such
a great tip. That's a win-win, for anyone. That $100 becomes, $200. Yeah.
Exactly. It's an automatic double. Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. Cool. I know you've got an event coming up. Tell us. I happen to be an avid runner. Thinking about this one. But you got an event coming up pretty quickly. Tell us about the run.
So High Five is a non-competitive soccer league created by these wonderful people, Matt and Jen Wagner, and it's for kids with multiple different disabilities. Connor's been a part of the group for probably close to, oh my gosh, at least 6, it might even be 7 years. And once they found out about Connor's diagnosis, they knew they had to jump in the fight. And so they created the High 5K for Connor. It's Sunday, April 19th. It starts at 9 a.m. It's at Marsh Creek State Park in Downingtown. They have a 5K run. They have a 1-mile youth run and a kids fun walk/run. So, I mean, it really is tailored to everybody and anybody who wants to come out. If you're, a runner, if you're a walker, if you've got kids. So we encourage everybody. I think it would be great just to see everybody come together after this pandemic. We've all been shut down and inside. So I feel like this is going to be a great way for everybody to kind of reconnect and get a little bit of fun in. So join us, please.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And I'm actually looking forward seeing what I can do a 5K in, because I haven't actually timed myself. So I'm going all out to see what happens. Hopefully I won't pull any muscles.
Oh, you know what? I think it's the 18th. I think Sunday's the 18th. I'm sorry. I'm like.
Yeah, it is. The 18th.
Sorry. The 18th. Sunday the 18th.
Sunday the 18th.
Hey, Mike, it's not about the pace. It's not about the pace. It's just about the finish. I also love on that page, if somebody can't make it, you've got a donate button. So there's still a way that they can contribute. And, Mike also kind of shared a different tip, and Marisa talking about the pandemic. World is opening up a little bit now, but we're all part of these private Facebook or Instagram groups based on our interests. I happen to be part of an outdoor adventure club that has over 3 million members. It's the power of the share. So please consider. The Dolan Fund is part of your family. We will do what we can do to raise awareness, help spread the word, to encourage people to share. Your determination, bravery, and love of your son is just so admirable. So want to thank you both
Thank you.
for
Thank you.
spending the time.
Thanks
raise
so much for
awareness.
having us.
Oh, absolutely. Keep us posted. Send
We will.
us, things that are happening. We'll be happy to share throughout our
Yeah.
platforms. We're
And,
there. for
and
them
you
to
know, we
support.
are all about teamwork, because we know we need it. We need teamwork. So, now we have another platform, and now so do you guys as well. And we look forward to staying in touch and working with you guys, building this thing. That'd be great.
Absolutely. It's a deal. Thanks. Enjoy the beautiful
Perfect.
day out there today. You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Everybody, please join us next week. We're going to be talking about one of our wonderful partnerships with local Twin Spring Farm School and all that they've done and continue to do for our families at the fund. Make it a great day, everyone.